Hey guys, Videopad Sevi here, and I'm in a new studio, per se. I'm on vacation, so I figured I'd knock off some more parts of our love story. And I had the time. It's my last day on vacation, so I'm at the beach in Sri Lanka, Colombo, Sri Lanka, at the Camelot Beach Hotel. And this is a hotel I've been at very many times over the years. So I'm going to do a site review, hotel review a little bit later. But right now we're going to continue on with the love story, the trap. Part 4 of the story is coming up to you right now. So where did we leave off last time? Last time, part 3, we were talking about Tim and Steffi in Supik Bay. It was 2017, and you know, Tim's an avid scuba diver, and he's making plans. He's thinking about what he's going to do with his future, and he was thinking, you know, hey, I like the scuba dive. I got this money coming in from the government, so he finds a nice little town by the ocean where he can, you know, retire and scuba dive as often as he wants to, you know, enjoy scuba diving as well as supplement his income. So where we left off last time was Tim met Steffi. All right, so and he's at this resort, and he meets Steffi, and they hang out, and they have a good time. So it's it's 2018, December 2018, and I made a mistake. Tim is not living there yet. He's on vacation. So he's planning on moving there. He's making his plans. So, you know, so they end up talking. Tim and Steffi end up talking, and they hit it off. And you know, Tim's a big guy. He's like I said, he's 2 meters tall and 6 foot whatever. Huge guy. And she makes jokes about him and, you know, how big he is, and you know, and Tim's talking with her, and it turns out, you know, she's not married, never been married, no kids, 23 years old, and asking if she's Filipina. And she says, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, he's joking around where he says the reason he asks is because Filipina girls usually at 23 and they don't have a child, and it's pretty common by that age that they have 1 or 2 kids, and they laugh, and you know, so the culture thing there starts to connect, and they hit it off really well. So Tim is having a lot of fun. He asks her out for the rest of the evening, and they have fun. And the next morning, Tim goes scuba diving early in the morning and tells her that if she has stuff to do, she can go home, and they can catch up and go for dinner and bar hopping or whatever. And she says, yeah, she'd love to. So, you know, this goes on for a week. They hang out for a week. So Tim decides to stay in Supik Bay area instead of going to Angeles. Now, Supik is the main port that used to house the American military base, but they vacated that years ago after the volcano eruption. And the Philippine Navy took over, and I'm not sure the details of what's going on in that area, but there's a lot of expats in that area. And it's a nice beach town. So he decides to stay there, and so that he can spend more time with her. So he gives her some money to pay some bills that she might have, what have you. And so this is about a week in 2018, so 2 years ago. And he decides, and he spends he's on vacation, so he spends his time there with her, and then he flies back to Korea. So, you know, it's only 3 weeks that he's in Seoul, and then he heads back to the Philippines, and they've been keeping in touch back and forth through the messaging apps and stuff, and so he heads back there, and they reconnect, and they're hanging out. And at this time in Philippines, there was a lot of it was the rainy season, so there was a lot of thunderstorms and heavy rains, and there was a lot of flooding. So Steffi's house the one that she shares with her sister and all these other people, keeps flooding. This is the house that she's staying in right now in Subic Bay. So he doesn't want her to worry about all of that, and tells her to find a new place. And the brother, or one of the family members, finds one that's $100 a month, and they need $300 to move in. So Tim sends her the money, and they all move in. The family members, they all move into this new place. So, sorry, this was before Tim went back. So this was during the 3 weeks that Tim was in Korea. This happened. So she moved to a new place. So now Tim goes back to Subic, and Tim is there for a while, and they decide to go to the jungle village where her family lives. And so Tim and Steffi fly there. The rest of the family takes the bus. It's a 26-hour bus ride, right? So they meet the rest of the family, the mother and father or whoever, on the island. And Steffi told Tim to bring some money, and Tim already knows that, you know, he has to, like, part of the culture thing there is to give money. So he brings 250 US for, you know, 5 days. He thinks that that's plenty. They're living in a village. There's nothing to do, right? So, and they bring some gifts for everybody, sweets and other foods, and they're on the island, and Steffi's taking Tim around to meet all of the friends and cousins. You know, half the island are her cousins, right? Big families in Philippines. And every time she meets someone, she's handing them, you know, 100 pesos. It's about two US dollars. And Tim doesn't know otherwise, but he thinks that this is just customary, you know, because even though Tim has been in Southeast Asia for a long time, he hasn't done the family thing. So he doesn't really know all about that. So after about 2 days on the island, Tim has already spent the entire 250 that he brought. And Steffi says that they're going to need more money because they still have to buy more food and give stuff to the mom. And since they're on this island, there's no ATM. So Tim says, you know, if you can get some money, I'll pay you when we go back to my place, right? So she had that apartment, so she's renting it out. So they send her money, and Tim, you know, as he said, he'll get money when they get back. So 3 more days, and Steffi spent another $300 US. So day 5, Tim and Steffi get back to Subic Bay, and sorry, what's the note here? They go back to the town that has the airport, and Tim gives Steffi $300 because he found a ATM. But she says she needs another $500 because she needs to leave some money with her mother. Tim agrees, and he gives it to her. Now it's day 6. Tim leaves on day 7, so he decides that this is what he wants. Here's where the title of my story, The Trap, comes into play. You know, and what do you think Tim does? What do you think? Okay. You want to put that in the comments and tell me what you think. As I've said before, Tim's a smart guy. He's not naive about life in Southeast Asia and women in Southeast Asia. But like me, he's very, I don't want to say impetuous, I want to say he knows what he wants and he grabs it and he goes after it. If something's right, it's right. So what do you think happened next? And we're going to finish up that in part 5 of Love Story, The Trap. Itaewon Sammy, living life, and I'm out.